Howdy folks, Sapper here, aka Sean, and I'm bringing you A World at War. So, well, not really bringing you a lot. It's been, what has it been, a week or two since I posted the last video. Yeah, I read all your guys' comments, and it seems like the consensus is, hey, forget this game and play Whiff. I have played or try Whiff or whatever. I've tried one of the introductory scenarios of Whiff, World in Flames, for anybody that's listening to this that might not know what that is, but if you're watching this video, you probably know what Whiff is. And I have played it, and I did enjoy it. I found it, yeah, it's a monster game, right? It's a grand strategy operational scale game, and I really did enjoy it when I played it, and I just played one of the small scenarios, and everybody's like, yeah, just all the comments are like, you know what, A World at War is not worth it. And it's I kind of knew that after playing Gathering Storm and Storm over Asia, but I kind of figured that, hey, if I was able to, and I'm not saying I even got anywhere close to mastering those games, but if I was able to eventually have a kindergarten level understanding of those two games, which I kind of did, I figured this one would be, just a little bit harder to grasp. And, the rules are not good, not written well, and they very much appeared to be written with the understanding that, one, you are going to be playing with somebody who can mentor you through the process, or two, where was I? I don't even know where I was going with this. That's what happens when you get old, guys. Don't get old. So they're one written with the understanding that you are going to have somebody mentor you, or two, you have been playing the game for a long time already and already have a really good understanding of the rules. That's to me how the rules are written, right? They're not written with a new player in mind, or even a solo player, right? Like, most people, they prefer to play games with other people. Well, COVID kind of has squashed that for the time being. And honestly, there's not a lot of war. I haven't been able to find any war gamers in my area. So, honestly, I'm kind of left to my own devices, and don't get me wrong, I like playing games solitaire. But that's my, after reading through the rules, that's what I get, right? They're not written for a solo player who doesn't, or somebody who doesn't have somebody to help them get through the rules. So anyway, I've set the game up, and I've read through the setup a couple of times. I think I have the setup done probably 90% correct. I'm sure there's something that I've screwed up. There's things that you have to really dig for to find as far as the setup goes. But see, I get sidetracked. So yeah, everybody's like, hey, don't play Whiff or something else, right? Well, I have a couple reasons for wanting to play this, right? Number one, I have invested the money in the game, right? I have Gathering Storm, Storm over Asia, and A World at War, which I've spent, a decent amount of money on. So I want to, get my money's worth out of it, right? Will I get my money's worth out of it? Hey, that's pretty subjective. Number two, I've invested a decent amount of time in Gathering Storm and Storm over Asia, so I want to, again, get my game's worth, my money's worth out of the game. And then, I don't want to, number three, I want to give this game a fair shot, / I don't want this game to get the better of me. Or maybe I want to give the game, number 3, I want to give the game a fair shot, and 4, I don't want this game to get the best of me, right? I don't want this game to beat me. I want to beat this game. So there's a little bit of, it's personal in there, I guess, as to why I'm trying to continue on with it. But don't get me wrong, guys. I hear you. I can tell you right now, I really don't think this game is worth the effort that you have to put into it. And I say that as a solo player, right? Like if I did live close to somebody, or I knew somebody that could kind of walk me through it and kind of help me out, it might be a totally different experience. But even doing the setup for this game was intensive and prolonged, because I'm putting my Gathering Storm over Asia glasses on, or filter on, and that was tough, even because you have to find things all throughout the rules to figure out how to set things up. It's, Storm over Asia at least had a setup card, but that was still lacking. Gathering Storm has no setup card or instructions. You have to dig them out of the rule book, and they're not consolidated in one location. So the setup for this game was no different than Gathering. Well, actually, I think it was probably a little bit easier than Gathering Storm. But there was a thing in there for synthetic oil plants that's you had to be looking for it to find it. So I was kind of on the lookout for things that affected setup. So then, now that I'm done with setup, I figured I would just go down the sequence of play card, which, here you go. Here's the sequence of play card. Let's see. You got that big monster, and that's like what? Smaller than 10-point font on there? So the first thing is the research phase. I don't know if you can read that, but research phase. So the research phase was something I really enjoyed in Gathering Storm and Storm over Asia. That made those two games somewhat enjoyable for me. I liked the research part of it. So I'm going through the research, and I'm reading this long section on how the research works. And of course, it doesn't just, you have to read a lot, several pages, just to get the research stuff. And I've had to read it and reread it, and I'm still not quite sure how it works. So I've allocated research points and all that kind of stuff, and it looks like during each year you can roll in one category. So you have general, you have air, you have naval, you have military, you have atomic, and you have intelligence. And then you have little subcategories under each one of those. Like you have a generic air category, you have a generic naval, and then you have specialized projects underneath one of those. So in each category, air, I get a chance to roll in each one of those in the air category in one thing, and find out if I was successful. So, and this particular game starts in the fall of 39. So I think you get research points each turn. So you get the spring turn, the summer turn, the fall turn, the winter turn. So I didn't really roll for any research projects because I had, I allocated my research points, and then I've decided that I'm not going to roll on anything to see if I get any kind of results yet. I'll wait until winter to do that, after I have accumulated a little bit more points. And when you allocate your research points, it's just basically a DRM, right? So one research point is a +1 DRM, and then of course you need to roll at a certain level to get a result. So you might spend the points in research, but you don't get a favorable result. So you have to spend more research points. Basically, that's how it works. I think, my understanding. So yeah, I'm done with the research phase, and it's time to do weather, and then ultra and magic, which are some cards that you have that you can use to do things with. Again, the rule book is so large. It's like there's no way that you could, in most games I like to read the rules first, just kind of give it a skim, and then usually what I'll do is I'll read the rules, then I will set the game up, pick whatever scenario I want to play. For me, I'm one of those idiots that likes to. I'm not going to just play an introductory scenario. I want to play the big one, whatever the monster is. That's just, I'm dumb like that, I guess. So anyway, read the rules, set the game up, and then start playing. And then as I play, I read that section, right? Like, so for example, the first thing to do in this game is research phase. So I set the game. I read the rules, kind of. There's over 100 pages of rules, so obviously I'm like, you know what? I'm not reading this whole thing, and I didn't even understand what was going on anyway. So, kind of read the rules. Then I set the game up, which was a pain. Then I'm on turn number 1, so I was like, okay, let me do the research phase, and then I'll read that specific section. So that's kind of how I play a game. And yeah, it's turning out to be a bear. I've put in quite a bit of multiple hours already just setting up the rules. I've been up here for several hours today, and I have barely gotten through the research phase, and I don't even know if I got that right. So anyway, yep, I've been talking for a while. I've been droning on. There's not really any kind of gameplay. But I think most of you are probably watching this because you enjoy seeing me. You enjoy my pain, I think. And it basically is a confirmation as to why you don't get this game, which I don't blame anybody. I would tell anybody that unless you live next to somebody that knows how to play this game and then they would agree to play with you, I wouldn't buy this. I wouldn't spend the money on it. But that's, I think that should probably go into the review once I review the game, which I probably will, depending on, I don't know if I'll make it through this thing. I really don't. It's going to be tough. So I know a couple of you guys have wished me luck. I really appreciate that because, this is definitely something else. Maybe there's some fun in here. I hope there is. But, yeah, so there we are. We have barely... We're right here. Actually, we're done. So we're right here. And, yep, so we'll catch you in the next one.